Okay, so I'm driving down the road and you could see it's kind of almost dusk, and I kind of wanted to talk about. Okay, I sometimes delve into these documents, these archival documents, and one of these documents is called the archival volumes, and the one that draws my attention most is the one where Caiaphas wrote to the Sanhedrin. He wanted to alert people of what he had been seeing and hearing. And I think there was two letters. One of them, Caiaphas was talking to one of the leaders about how Peter had described Jesus to him. And this was after Jesus was crucified, after he had risen. There was so much unrest, he thought it would be over with, but there's so much excitement among the people, especially the believers, that he just had to relate the things that he heard, and he wanted Peter to tell him what Jesus was like, what kind of a man he was. And so Peter describes him to him, and it's interesting, the words that Peter uses. And these documents, some people believe them and some people don't. But I think there's people that say that there are inconsistencies in the letters. There's things that, are missing, some other documents that they're referring to that they never found. I just, you could take it at face value for what it is. I think the document that intrigues me the most is when Caiaphas said that Jesus Christ visited him in the presence of his wife and his father-in-law. And he fell down as like a dead man. He was so surprised. And, what Jesus was speaking to him, like, you condemn me, but I am the last lamb to be slain, he was saying, basically. Because, Caiaphas, he's a priest in the temple, and his job is to officiate the sacrifices for the people's sins. And Jesus is saying he's the last sacrifice. He's the sacrifice to end all sacrifices. So basically he's saying that Caiaphas' job is done. He doesn't need to sacrifice any more lambs, because the final lamb was sacrificed for all the sins of the world. I thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, there's another, what else was I looking at? Oh yeah, the guy, somebody, Wyatt Ron, or some dude, he's an archaeologist, and he said, and you can find it on YouTube, another YouTube, he said that he discovered Jesus' blood. He discovered the Ark of the Covenant right below where Jesus was crucified. He kind of stumbled on it, and with his son, I think he was digging with his son, and the blood was on it. The blood was actually not just figuratively, but actually physically on where the mercy seat is supposed to be, on the Ark of the Covenant. Jesus' blood fell down from the cross and actually fell on the mercy seat. So they tested the blood, and he asked Israeli scientists to test the blood. He knew that Israeli scientists were like the cream of the crop in testing scientifically. Their chemistry was, beyond compare. And he knew that they would do a good job, but he didn't tell them whose blood it was. He didn't tell them. So he asked them to test it. He knew that they would put it in a centrifuge, like swirl it around. But he was like, they were saying, well, we could tell you what it was, but we can't do this and that because it's dead blood. And so he said, humor me, and I'm paraphrasing. But they said, well, we know it's the blood of a human, and